The Agweek Market Wrap is sponsored by Gateway Building Systems.
Welcome to the Agweek Market Wrap, brought to you by Gateway Building Systems. I'm Carah Hart, here for the Red River Farm Network. Joining us this week is Martinson Ag Risk Management President Randy Martinson. Randy, the grain markets were on a roller coaster for this first week of August. Let's step back and recap some of the action this week.
You're right. I mean, yeah, we started off not looking so good. It looked pretty ugly the first couple of sessions this week, and it looked like we were, kind of setting ourselves up for new lows being set in the market. But, weather forecast changed a little bit. That's what kind of started the pressure. We're getting some grain shipped out of the Ukraine. The Pelosi going over to Taiwan, kind of making a little bit of hardship there with China. It all kind of came in and kind of pushed the market down a little bit early in the week. But boy, by the time we hit Thursday, we saw a change in the weather forecast, rumors of some China buying. That changed the outlook a little bit and actually made the markets, even though we finished lower for the week, it's made them look a little better.
Well, and those rumors that China was going to buy were confirmed on Friday. We saw one confirmed China, another export sale, a new crop to unknown destinations. You think that could be China too?
Pretty much, yeah. Most of the, 90% of the time it is China that winds up taking the unknown destinations. But yeah, it was good. I mean, and that is after, kind of the chest pumping of China saying that they're going to do some retaliation because of Pelosi stopping in Taiwan, and then they come in and buy soybeans. So I mean that was a good sign, I thought, or I felt. Market maybe thought they were going to buy a little more than they did, but still the fact that exports have been kind of slow, it was good to see something.
Is that pretty seasonal, Randy? Will we start maybe seeing China come in to buy more U.S. products as we get ready to head into this new crop marketing year now that some of Brazil's crops are pretty much all moved and gone to where they need to go?
Yeah, I think we will. I mean, yeah, I think that's exactly right. When everybody likes to buy the new and the freshest, and we're going to be combining here, hopefully in a few months, our sales will start to pick up quite a bit. And that's kind of the seasonal movement. We are kind of now starting to see a lot of our old crop roll over to new crop because of everybody wanting to get the new supply.
So let's take a look at some of the crops, how things have been going in the United States. There's been some talk about Eastern versus Western Corn Belt. Randy, do you see that distinction in the weather pattern based off of what you follow every day?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, the eastern has been picking up a little bit cooler temperatures, a little bit more moisture. Right now they're saying Illinois is the garden spot, but you don't have to go too far south. You get into Kentucky and down into that area, that region, and things start looking a little tough again. So, and you from move to the west, you start seeing the crop deteriorate a little bit. Even Indiana was kind of touch and go there for a while. It's somewhat improved with some rains, but now Iowa, the Western Corn Belt, especially Nebraska, Kansas, there's some trouble there. Up here, it's been a while since we've had a good rain, in the southeast corner of the state. Up in the north, you guys have been getting blessed a little bit more.
Yes, and it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the growing season works for us up here in the north. As many of the viewers know, it was a late planting season. It'll be an interesting thing to see how it all finishes. But I mean, what are you hearing from growers, Randy, when you visit with them on how things are moving along with the corn, the soybeans, and of course the spring wheat?
What we've been hearing so far with the early harvest results of guys that have been able to get some spring wheat harvested, the yields have been coming in average, maybe a little disappointing from what things look like. And everybody's always said the crop doesn't quite look as good as they'd like it to look. Corn looks phenomenal if this was the end of July instead of the middle of August. So right now the corn does look really good. But we're going to need all of October to get this crop to maturity, or most of October to get it to maturity. So there's still a little bit of apprehensive about producers wanting to sell too heavy on the corn side. And soybeans are just kind of like wheat. It just hasn't quite looked as good as everybody would like. And there's a little concerned about what the potential yield is going to be there. But, come next Friday, we're going to see USDA come with their next crop production report. We're going to see if there's some resurveying of acres, if there's going to be a change in our acres up here in the northern regions, and what they're going to do with yield.
And remind us, Randy, why are we seeing a resurvey of the acres up here in the Northern Plains in that report?
No, I don't know if guys want to be reminded of that, but it's mainly because of the cool, wet spring that we had, and a lot of late planting. Up here, our planting season really didn't get good until the middle of May or the end of May. And then once we got into June, things started to take off pretty good as far as progress. So I think we're going to see, I wouldn't be surprised to see less wheat acres, less corn acres, more soybean acres, or more late season crops just because of how our planting season went.
And of course, the big unknown yield. What will USDA do with its yield forecast? And we saw some estimates this week. What are your expectations?
I think USDA is going to punt on that one. I think they're going to leave the yield unchanged in this report. I think they're going to wait more, probably till the September, maybe October report before they do much. Conditions are good; they've been improving, but again, like you said, it's east versus west, and it's just a matter of the east is improving while the west is deteriorating.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. And that comes out when, Randy?
It'll come out Friday at 11 o'clock. And, normally, like we said, the August report, like a lot of reports, doesn't bring a lot of new news to the marketplace. But this time, most of USDA's reports have been ones to watch.
Before we transition over to livestock, Randy, I want to visit what's happening globally with Russia and Ukraine. I think that's in the back of many of our minds and kind of trying to watch to see what happens. Where do we sit here at the end of the first week of August in terms of how that whole situation's panning out?
It's gone a little better than most anticipated because they are starting to move grain out of the Ukraine. We started off with one boat of corn and that went well. So now they're hoping that they can start moving about 3 boats a day out of the ports, not just Odessa, but other ports as well. Today, 3 boats, or on Friday, 3 boats were supposed to be leaving. Loaded, I think, 2 with corn, 1 with wheat, and so they're starting to get some movement. There even was, which I was surprised to hear, a empty ship was coming in to load, which we didn't expect that to be coming this early because of the insurance issues and not being able to bind the boats quite yet. So it seems like it's going well, and the product is moving through, which is a good sign.
That is a good sign. Thanks for that update. And let's transition over here to the U.S. livestock markets here. How did the cattle do this week?
Cattle did fairly well. I mean, we're going to post gains for the week, kind of making up for last week's losses. A little bit calmer movement as far as the economy was concerned. The cattle performed well on Friday because of the better jobs numbers. So it is a little, it's good to see that the cattle markets have been able to hold on and trade with some gains. We're getting up into some pretty high levels in the market. We'll see if we can hold these higher prices. Feeder cattle touching up against contract highs again. So it's been a good move. Right now, we normally start to see the cattle market start to drift, especially feeder cattle. And where the prices are coming in where the feeders are at, fats have to move a little higher to make it work out.
Well, Randy, thanks for this update. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the markets? Anything else farmers and ranchers here in the region need to be aware of?
I think that, right now, I mean, weather is going to be, of course, be the driver. I mean, we saw that this week as the ebbs and flows of the market were mainly due to the weather forecast. And I'd say next Friday's report is also going to set the tone. So that's the two big things going forward right now.
Well, once again, we've been visiting with Martinson Ag Risk Management President Randy Martinson. I'm Carah Hart here on the Red River Farm Network. A friendly reminder, be sure to check out the Red River Farm Network on air and online for more market updates and daily market analysis. That's all at rrfn.com. This is the Agweek Market Wrap brought to you by Gateway Building Systems.